Good evening, Trinidad and Tobago, and across the globe. Welcome to Real Talk Corner. Hadassah, how are you?
Hi, I am fine, thank you. How are you, Esther?
Good evening, Trinidad and Tobago, and wonderful people around the globe. This is Real Talk Corner, and I'm your host, Dr. Esther Cruickshank, where conversations spark change and every voice matters. And yes, you may see me looking away a little bit, but I'm trying to send some links out here. What a beautiful Friday evening. It was a wonderful Friday with some new development in Trinidad and Tobago. I trust that most of you have heard about it. It's nothing to be worried or scared about or to get frantic about, but to just, pay attention. So on this beautiful Friday, the 18th of July, 2025, and is the time just flying or what? It's almost the end of July, but you know what? I'm grateful to be in the land of the living. I'm still amongst the living, not the dead, and I am grateful for the breath of God in my lungs. And I'm thankful for those of you who have been watching, listening, sharing the live. Continue to share the live so people would listen and understand. And real talk is about real talk. We talk it raw, bold, without any compromise. And of course, everybody have their own opinions and their own, should I say, view on things. But we try to be as real can be, and we try to be factual. We also try to be honest with whatever we are saying or doing here at Real Talk. We don't want to spew any propaganda or any kind of lies. We want to be real. And like I said, everybody have their opinion. I was listening to someone who talked about when she talked about the UNC government, UNC supporters with like and whatever. When she talked against them, the UNC supporters would say nasty things. Listen, I don't care who say nasty things or whatever people want to say. Just be respectful. At the end of the day, we are asking people to please be respectful with your comments. If you don't like something, you say you don't like it. You don't agree with our comments. That's your prerogative. All right. So again, good evening to every one of our viewers and to all those who are going to tune in or check us out later on or in the next couple of days, whatever it is. I am thankful to be here, to be alive. And like I said, I'm here in Trinidad. I'm not in Tobago as I had said I would have been. Things have changed, but we are here. And I have a very interesting discussion with you all tonight. I don't think my co-host is going to be on, but I want to shout her out. Hadassah, good night. Wherever you are, if you're taking a peek, I know you may not be able to join me tonight. I am already missing you, but that is what it is all about. That's life. Until then, I have to do it, and I am capable of doing it by myself. But I just love to have the company of Hadassah, my dear sister. So we want to go on right on to a clip. I actually wanted to talk about the state boards, but because of the state of emergency, I want to deal with that a little bit tonight. And of course, we're going to be on for 1 hour. I know it's Friday. A lot of us want to go out and hang out or spend some time with family. So we're just going to be on for 1 hour tonight. So, producer, could you run that clip? Thank you.
We were left with no choice, faced with information, credible information, that persons involved in the administration of justice and others were to be assassinated, given certain contingencies, we were left with no choice but to take the most dramatic action that is possible under the Constitution. We have done that. We make no apologies for it. We have a duty to all of the people of Trinidad and Tobago, whether they voted for us or not, to keep them safe and to protect against precisely that which took place in 1990. It will not happen on our watch.
Okay, so you've heard it. They were left with no choice than to protect the citizens of Trinidad and Tobago, and therefore the government, through the Attorney General who just spoke, Attorney General John Jeremy, has just spoken. And I want to agree with him on behalf of the government, as he said, you know, while they were campaigning the United National Congress, who is now the government of Trinidad and Tobago, they said that they were going to deal with crime. Our prime minister, then political leader, said that they're going to do everything in their power to deal with the escalating crime in our country. And for those of you who would have experienced some level of crime at your home or at your family's place or a good friend, you know how it feels. And you know, I want to say some
We
things
were
tonight. A lot
left
of
with
people
no choice.
are like that. We were left with no choice. So I want to say that everything that is done and is being done should always be done in a holistic way. All right. And I was talking to a friend, and you know, she was saying to me, anything that is striving is in a good environment. Anything that is striving means that it is in the best environment. And it would appear or seem like crime is in the best environment in Trinidad because crime over the years have been striving, really striving. But I want us to keep in mind, and this is very, very serious, the little black hens, or we want to call them black chicken, the little black men and black boys and girls, because the masses of the criminal activities that takes place is with or among the black community. You may now and again see one of our Indian brothers or sisters in the mix, and the masses of it is taken place from our black children. And from time to time, you would hear parents talk when their children is killed or gunned down, murdered, that he or she was a good child. And I really believe that every citizen, every little boy or girl come into this world as a good child. No child comes in as a bad child. But the environment that they are brought up into creates that sense of wanting to be a part of something, and eventually because they are brought up in this poor environment, an environment where their parents are not able to provide for them, they end up into a life of crime, and from a very tender age, you would not believe. And yes, I always say you blame government to an extent for certain things that happens within our communities with respect to crime. But charity begins at home. I always say that. I look at how parents would deal with their children or bring up their children or the example they set for their children. And sometimes it makes me wonder. And I have to go back to, you know, when my daughters were young children attending secondary school. And I could never forget, there was a fight that included two of my daughters. Well, it was one, and when the other one heard about what was happening, she went to her rescue. And it was really bad because I had to take one to the health facility to get some bandages and stuff under her eye, and seeing one of the guys who were in another fight. And the mother, was there with her son, and the son was actually talking to the mother as though he was the father and she was the child. And I remembered asking the mother, I said, "Who is the parent here?" And she turned and she said, "Ma'am, I am so fed up of him. And, he don't listen." And I'm saying, "Fed up? This is your responsibility together with his father. And if his father wasn't around, it is your responsibility to get help and to deal with that young man. He cannot be speaking to you like that." And one time I pulled up on him and I said, "Listen to me. You are not allowed to speak to your mother like that." And he just looked at me and he was quiet. And I'm telling her, I said, he would have collected 2 slap already from me, right? Because he can't speak. As a matter of fact, no children that I brought up would even think twice about talking to me like that in my house or outside in the public. Again, it's how you bring up your children, is the values that you instill in them, the morals and the principles that is set in your home. And may I say, I did not grow up in a rich home, not even what they call it middle class. We were poor people. I grew up as a child, dirt on the ground, galvanized around and on top. We were very poor, poor people. Okay? But we had that love in our family, and we had to listen. It didn't mean that we didn't disobey. It didn't mean we didn't do our own thing from time to time, but we were mindful that we had a father to deal with, even more than our mother. Our mother she was very, quiet, and she would leave it up to our dad. And our dad made no mistake about punishing us for our wrong. As a matter of fact, I used to think it was so cruel because I recall my brothers having to kneel down, and there was something called lead that you had to put in your hand and keep it up. And if you drop it, you get in two bells, as the case may be. And today, I have never had a brother or a sister who did anything and break the law. As a matter of fact, my brother who is in the States, 2 of them who are in the States, and they are in the military. They were in the military here in Trinidad. And we have grown up to be good citizens, not exempting the fact that you make errors, you do things in life that you regret as you get older. Because when you're younger, you make some errors, okay? But I say that to say this. Those young people that is involved in criminal activity, and now that we have an SOE, there are some people who are going to put some foolishness in their mouth to speak. All right? And I am saying, when the police is doing their job, notwithstanding we know that there are rogue element within the police service, I am hoping that all of that is being dealt with. If they come and kick down your door, I am almost certain no police coming to kick down my door. They wouldn't just come and kick down a door. They would have to have some sort of intelligence in order to come and do that. And you see it from time to time, and the police advantage us. And I'm not saying that there are instances where a police officer, male or female, may have some kind of grudge with you. And because of that, and because they feel they are police officers, they wouldn't use their authority wrongfully to come and go and harass some people, or to do things that they really shouldn't do according to the law. I know these things happen. But at this point in time, where there is a state of emergency, and rightfully so, based on what was discovered, what intelligence came to higher authority through the commissioner of police and so on, they are doing what they're supposed to do. And I trust that they're doing what they are really supposed to do, understanding that in the prison service, there are a lot of nonsense that is taking place. And I don't want to be naive. I am aware that higher authority is aware of what is taking place. And I will share this. Some years ago, I had a nephew who ended up in prison, and he was notorious a bit. One day I got a call, and it was him. So I am like, are you out of prison? How are you calling me? No, he is still there. Well, one time I said, and how are you calling me? He get a phone and whatever, whatever. I came off that phone and said, listen, don't ever call me from in prison. Don't ever do it. And I hung up the phone. Next thing, his mother called me and telling me that she have to get certain amount of money to take to her son, because I did go in prison and look for him, to take to her son, and she had to send cigarettes. And I said, excuse me, that is not allowed. How am I going to do something like that? A prison officer is going to meet me. Now, that stirred up every blood cell in my body, because I'm like, and if you don't do it, they would beat him and they would whatever, whatever. So it is not now that we know and we have heard about shots from in the prison. People sending shot from in the prison to kill people or hit on people's life outside here in the public. It is nothing new. I don't think it is new to anybody in Trinidad and Tobago. We know that these things have been happening. Apparently now it is escalating more and more and more. But one of the things I really want to say, and I know that Trinidad and Tobago citizens are aware of this as well, these little young black boys or young men, because some of them are men, they're in their 20s and in their 30s, we have heard over and over again, they are not in a position financially to be able to bring in guns, to be able to bring in drugs, and all the likes. They are not in a position financially to acquire these things. Okay? And if by chance we have heard that there is gangs and the CPEP jobs are for them and the URP, and that's how they get their money to buy their guns and whatever. Where are those weapons coming from? Who are bringing it into this country? And I don't have to say, because we all know who is doing it. And I would say this, one of the things that came to my mind when I heard what was taking place, nothing more than the 1% they talk about, or people who are grieving from under the PNM, is trying to destabilize this country. Which gang have the ability to kill a prosecutor without being influenced or given the instructions from higher authority? If they are into criminal minding activities and somebody come and bring $20,000 and give them a gun and say, I want you to kill this person, more than likely they are going to do it. They are on the streets. They are gang leaders. They belongs to a gang. We have these gangs in Trinidad and Tobago, and I support this new government, my government, that is presently in governance, running the show, that they take a stand, but not only for our black brothers and sisters. You know, there's talk about the white collar crime, but I think it past being white collar. I think it's white, red, black, yellow, green, blue. All the colors you could think about crime is now in Trinidad and also Tobago. Okay? So let us not be fooled and let us not play naive. I want my government, and I know it is going to happen based on intelligence. There are lots of rogue elements in the police service, in the Coast Guard, in the Army, in the prisons, name them. There is a ring. If they're talking about gang, maybe they should talk about the hierarchy gang, because they are the ones who are responsible for what is happening. I cannot go into the prison and carry anything. They search you, they ask you if you have any phone, you have to leave everything I've been to the prison. And you are almost, I mean, you are searched from top to bottom. Who carrying those weapons and carrying those telephones and whatever gadget that is being carried into the prison service for these people to carry on with their business? And some hierarchy prison officer. So I know, I am certain, I'm not putting my head on a block, but I'm certain that the government of the day, that the commissioner of police, that those who are in authority know exactly what is going on, you know. But the sad thing about it is our little black boys just had to pay the price, just lose their life for it, right? Because they're stupid, because they're not intelligent. Some of them have no education, and education plays a very, very important part in illiteracy and in our young children, our young black brothers and sisters getting themselves involved in these criminal activities because they're hungry, they want food, they want to bling, they want to drive nice car, they want to live in a good home, they want to wear jewelry, as though that is all to life for some of them. And because of that, they take chain up from the ones who have the guns and the drugs for them. And they're so illiterate in their thinking. They're so illiterate in their thinking that they would kill their own by instruction of those who give them the drugs and the gun. Now, Trinidad and Tobago, this is not only in Trinidad, okay? This is across the globe. But for a small country like us, something needs to be done. And I pray and hope that this government, under the leadership of our Honorable Prime Minister, that something is going to take place within the next couple of years. Too many persons are losing their lives, and they're losing their lives because they are involved. They are involved in these scenarios. They are involved in gangs, or they may not be in a gang, but they are involved with persons who are associated with these gang members and so on. So many times when we hear of these gruesome killing, for instance, the young lady who got killed and cut up in pieces and put in a bag. I look at some pictures. I looked at some of the, things that was being said. I'm not a social media person, but from time to time I go on to see what is happening. Especially when you hear of something like that, you go to listen to what some of the detractors or people are just saying, because some people, I wonder if they really know and understand what they are saying sometimes. However, when I look at what I saw, I just know you're getting tangled with the wrong person, whether it's a boyfriend or a girlfriend. They are entangled with the wrong kind of people. This is why, as individuals, we have to choose our partners wisely. And some of those young girls just know what they're getting into. So does the young men. They know what they're getting into. But because they have no patience, they want the money, they want to be able to bling, and they want to live a particular lifestyle. So be it, they settle with that. But then you stand the risk of losing your life. Okay, Trinidad and Tobago citizens, we need to pray more than ever. We need to set good examples more than ever. The church body needs to set good examples, show love, be there for one another, get out into the highways and byways and bring in the people and train them and teach them. Get our young people, stop being hypocrites, stop being, disciples of the devil. Yeah, we have disciples of the devil within the body of Christ. We have them there. We have some of those leaders who are pretending to be saints. They're not saints. They are wolves. And I'm going to say, they are wolves in sheep clothing. Okay? All they're concerned about for the masses of them is about your money, concerned about what they can get. They are gang leaders in their own rights, you know. They are social gang leaders, or should I say they are really Christian gang leaders. because some of them, they don't want to work. I've met some leaders that don't want to work. All they do is dictate people's life, control people's home, and take tithes and offering. In I know some people might talk about this, yeah, but it is the facts. This is real talk. They are there to take people's money to fatten themselves in the name of God. And that mustn't be so. That mustn't be so. We need to do better. The body of Christ, the church is responsible in a major way for a lot of the things that is taking place in the country and around the world because we are a bunch of hypocrites. We don't want to do what the word of God said to do, what Christ asks us to do, which is to show love to one another, which is to be our brother's keepers. No, we want to start a church as though they have any church. Really, they're just starting an organization. We want to start that to make money, to control people, to control people's mind. And some of us amazes me. You're educated, you have good jobs, you have a family, and you allow these men and women who call themselves servants of the Most High, ashamed to say it, call themselves servants of the Most High to dictate your life. We are called and are trained to train you to become citizens of the kingdom of God, not to take away from you. If we are going in the name of our Lord Jesus Christ, we are not supposed to be doing it to take anything from you. We are supposed to make it better for you. We are supposed to help you to understand who you are, understand your purpose, to live your life with great success by faith in God, to let you know there are going to be trials and tribulations sometimes. But if you keep your peace, if you stay in the word of God, then you will succeed according to his plan and purpose for your life. But we don't do that. We go there with the intention to become fat, to become, rich and wealthy. I've heard people say it too. Open a church so that they can enjoy the fruit of their labor. Which labor you talking about? This is not your church. This church belongs to Jesus Christ. And it happens in every religion. I have seen it with my own eyes, not just those who call themselves Pentecostal and full gospel. No, it happened in every religion. We are a bunch of hypocrites as leaders. And that is the truth. And they need to change their mindset. You all need to hear, read, and understand, and do not have your agenda, but the agenda of God for the people on this earth, not for yourself. When you do the will of God, you too will get blessed. You don't have to bully people or try to stack, have people in a box, close up to control people's mind. It's not about that. It's not about that. And for the people who allow it to happen, you are responsible. I don't know if anybody here remember Jim Jones. And I strain a little bit because I'm not really strained, because all of this have a part to do with crime. How much people did Jim Jones kill? What did Jim Jones said he was and who he was? And how foolish was over 800 people or 900 people was that drank what he gave them to drink and believe that they were going to be in paradise. Come on, and these people are wealthy people, people who had business, people who had education. And it's the same thing now. It is the same thing that is happening over and over, even in our country. You are trying to tell me that you all have no sense of your own. Man, I could understand the little children, black children who have no proper education, grow up in poverty and looking for a better life. And because no one is really helping them, and the PNM government who have been there for 10 years didn't help them, but now they want to bum their gum and talk a set of foolishness. I am not in support of nothing that those PNM MPs have to say because you all were there for so long and you did nothing. As a matter of fact, our country has become what it is today because of you all being there and there were no intervention, absolutely no intervention. So what it is all you're talking about now? What it is all you're trying to say? You all didn't help the black community. You all didn't help those young fellas who needed help to train them properly, invest finances in them, to educate them, and to have them in a position that they wouldn't go to become members of any gang. But it wasn't all your interest, it wasn't all your business then, because you all like it so. You all like it so. You wanted what is happening now to happen. Because of that, you all can have the money that you need. Okay? So at this point, before I get a little more aggressive, let's take a break. Producer, let's take a break. Let me cool myself right now. Good evening, Trinidad and Tobago, and across the globe. Welcome to Real Talk Corner. Hadassah, how are you?
Hi. I am fine, thank you. How are you, Esther?
Back. I had to take a little break there because the pressure was going up when you think about the unfortunate circumstance with our African community, those who really doesn't understand who they are and has not been brought up in an environment to make certain decisions that is going to augur well for them and their family. Those parents who are living under the poverty line, and really it is sad. Right in the central area in places like Castlefield and Fireburn, and they used to talk about the Beatum, and this is all over the place. You have the poor people who are not able to give their sons and daughters what is needed in this 20th century, in the year 2025. And, these young children go looking for food, they go into and break into people's home. I spoke to a young guy just recently, he's 15 years. He did something and he said, Tanti, I went because I was hungry. I didn't steal nothing, I just take some food. And I said, well, that is still stealing. You went into the people's home, you went in their fridge and you stole food. I understand you are hungry, but go and ask somebody. He said, Auntie, I just be asking and nobody just want to give me anything. And I was real hungry and I see the window. I climb over the fence and I went and it had food in the fridge and I take it out, put it in the microwave, hot it up and eat it. I said, if someone had come in and catch you now, what you would have done? He said, I would have run. Innocent. And this is what some of our young people go through because they're not educated. Their parents weren't able to send them to school, and somebody might say, well, whose fault is that? We're not blaming anybody here for anything except the government, who should be looking out for these families. I've said it years ago before that the government has a social responsibility to reach out to families and communities who are going through hard times, and especially since after the COVID pandemic, it has become worse. Okay, I find myself in my little that I have, trying to help who I can help, begging to get from others who have to help those who really need help. And to me, this is part of the government's responsibility. The PNM didn't do it at all. If they gave, they would have given to their own people. Some of them probably didn't even need it. I don't know. I don't want to put my mouth where I don't know for sure. But the thing is, this situation has not now escalated now that the United National Congress government is in power. This has been years since previously, since under uh, Patrick Manning time. I remember, the scenario with crime, how it had escalated, and talking about the small fish and the big fish. The UNC came into power and a lot had happened and a lot did change. Okay, and then the PNM came back and everything just went down the drain that the UNC at that time would have put in place. Oh gosh, we are fed up. I know we are fed up of this nonsense. You are living in a time, people in the communities are scared. Senior citizens, people are scared. They're in their home, they lock up and they still, sometimes they say they can't sleep. Moms, not until all 4 o'clock in the morning is when we just fall asleep. They are afraid these things are getting our senior citizens sick because they are not resting well. Okay? And something has to be done, must be done. Crime is out of control, and I am not blaming the United National Congress government. It has been out of control and it is still out of control. And I am praying to God that we would find the answers through who is there now, through our Attorney General, our Commissioner of Police, and through the Minister of Homeland, and all of these new heads that has come together, that they are going to find the solution. And I know it's not going to be immediately, it's not going to be easy, but I am saying, those who vex, But listen, government of the day, do what you have to do. Some of us will have to lose our cousin and our brothers and our fathers and uncles if they are involved in criminal activities, if they are influenced by persons who have the money to influence them, and if they are in the wrong place at the wrong time, they lose their life, so be it. Because at the end of the day, there are too much to lose in this country with a handful of people. I don't even think there is 1,000 people who is involved in these criminal activity and killing and taking people's lives. So do what has to be done. I am certain that the masses of Trinidad and Tobago citizens is agreeing with me or will agree with me when they hear that you all need to do what you have to do, because it has become out of control. It is a gruesome sight to hear about a young lady being cut up and put in a bag in a suitcase, or hearing a man neck cut off next to him. No, come on. Something must be done. And I know our Prime Minister, while she was campaigning, said that they're going to do everything in their power to protect the citizens of Trinidad and Tobago, the law-abiding citizens of Trinidad and Tobago. This is why she would have talked about the stand your ground laws and all of this. It is needed because some people just don't care. Some people just don't care. And it is not something that she just going to do, like she said, give everybody a gun. No, you have to be screened. You have to be interviewed, because there are certain people that these criminal minded ones wouldn't interfere with, but they target certain people. Just imagine kidnapping taking place again. Even though within myself I believe a lot of these things happen with people or their family members who are involved in criminal activity. But nevertheless, there are going to be those who are innocent who are going to be caught up in the heat. So we have to be protected. We have to have, ways of seeing and finding out who are these criminals, acting on behalf of those who have the money to bring in the guns and the drugs. Because it's not these little fellas that have those who locked up in the jail. They are not the hierarchies. They are not the ones really calling the shot. And I am totally almost sure that it is a plan by the lost PNM to destabilize our country. I don't want to say I'm going to put my neck on a block, but I have this gut feeling that they have something to play. They have something to do with it to destabilize this country, to make the UNC look bad. And if that is so, I'm telling you, we're going to pray, those of us who know how to pray, to stop them in their track, to allow them to be exposed. We're going to pray for those who are doing this wicked, evil act to be exposed. Okay? Because you all have corrupted this nation enough. And you're not happy. Yes, you all are not happy. You're not happy that you lose the election. You're not happy that you can't have your way anymore. Some of you wasn't expecting to lose the election, even though they wasn't treating the citizens of this country the way they are supposed to be treated. The ones who have elected you all and put you there and had you there for 10 years, you all wasn't treating them right. So this is what is happening in this country. There is a plan, an orchestrated plan to destabilize this country by the previous government. I have no doubt about it, you know. And I am not saying it is alleged. I believe it in my heart. This is what it is all about. Because listen, those young fellas, they don't have the wherewithal, they don't have the financial stability, they don't have that great ability to put something together like that to try to assassinate anybody. No, they don't. It is from higher authority. And God help those of you who are responsible for these evil, wicked deeds. And clearly, you all don't care about the human beings. You don't care. You all don't care about people's life. You don't care about the citizens. You don't even care about those who you're hiring to commit your crime. Because there's a possibility they're going to lose their life in the process. So are we going to just sit down and be naive citizens? No. This is what we need to look at and to be very careful. Analyze what is happening. Okay, analyze what is taking place in this country right now. And thank God for our leader, our prime minister. We pray that God is going to continue to keep her and to sustain her, to cover her from harm and from danger. And also her ministers who are with her working and supporting her to make this country a better place. But I must say, we need to tackle the young children. Oh my God. We need to go in to the Laventil and to the Beatum and to the Enterprise and to the Castlefield and to the Fireborn areas, those areas. Get those children and start to pour into them positivity so that they will not. A 4-year-old child in the Castlefield area watched me, and he said to me, he said, Pastor, you thief this van. That is what he could curse. He know all kind of stuff, but he don't even know how to spell his name. He said, Pastor, did you thief this van? I said, no, son. I said, Pastor, work hard. She went to school, get a proper education, and she worked hard and saved her money, took a loan to be able to buy this van. She didn't thief it. And he went about to say, my father, and I wouldn't say the rest. This is the environment that our young Black African children and some of our Indian children are growing up into. That life of poverty is causing them to be exposed to criminal activities. And by the time he was just 4, by the time he reached 14, 15, 16 years, if nothing happens for him, he is going to be a part of the team of what you call gangsters. He's going to be a part of the gang. So government personnel, those who have the responsibility, Ministry of the People, Community Development, Ministry of National Security, Homeland Security, as the case may be, you all need to come together and go into the communities, use the NGOs who doesn't have their own agenda but is going to carry out your agenda to go into the communities, pull out these children, those counselors who know of these children, families who are under poverty, and get these young children who are not going to school, even the parents, to talk with them, to give them guidance. Don't just give them hampers. Have conversation. Make sure you have food for them to eat on that particular day. Rent the locations, whether it's community centers within those communities, and let us reach out to the parents and to these children. Don't wait till they reach 10 years of age. Get these children and instill values into them and help the parents to have a job or to be able to sustain their family. I beg of you all. Now it is even more difficult, and I know it is challenging, but this is what has to happen. Ministry of the People, Community Development, Ministry of Culture, National Security, you all, and even the Ministry of Education, you all have to come together and seek out. Because when you kill their parents, the children coming up with the same ideology, because that is all they have seen by their parents. That is what they know. So we can't fling up our hands in the air. Those who want to talk the nonsense continue to break. But I am saying, government ministers, those of you who would have or get access to what I am saying, please do something so that the next generation, the next 10 years, we would not have to be living in fear for most of us who are. I tell people I don't live in no fear. I believe in God. I believe the angels is protecting me. When the time has come for me to say goodbye to this world, if God didn't protect me and He allowed that to happen, well, so be it. I would have done what I have to do. But while I'm here, my responsibility is to share, is to talk, is to give guidance, is to consult, is to inspire. But I alone cannot do it. Myself and others with NGOs who go out there and try to encourage parents and try to talk to the young people. We cannot do it. We don't have the kind of finances to be able to make that input in these young people's life in those communities. So you all need to come together and get something happening. Whilst you all have to fight crime and get intelligence and do what has to be done, there is another part of it, and that is to bring our young people together and be an influence to them. Those who have gone down the path and have changed their life, to come and talk with them. Those of us who know how to speak with them and counsel them. This has to happen now. It can't be a one-sided thing. We don't just want to kill them. We want to inspire them to change. We want to make provision for the younger ones so that they would not want to include themselves in a life of crime. And it happens because of lack of education, because of poverty, and because of bad influence. It's not just one thing, it's a holistic game. Okay? Because poverty alone is not going to cause you to be bad or cause you to want to do the wrong thing. Okay? If they have no good influence, there is no proper education, because with poverty, most time parents cannot send their children to school. So it is more than just one thing. And I pray, God, that you all will get to the bottom of it. Parents, seek help. I know sometimes you go to the MP's office and you may not get the assistance you're looking for, because most time they don't have anybody to really reach out to. You have to wait on the MP office day. Go and cry out to them. But to save your children, if you have children, please, you have to do better. And those of you who just bringing children into this world and you don't have a proper job, you don't have food to feed them, come on, do something about it, no man. I know sex is enjoyable, but that is not all. Enjoy your sex, but try not to get conceived, because you don't have the finances to take care of the children. Don't do it. You are doing an injustice to your children. And if you're a good mother and father, you wouldn't want to bring children into a society where you cannot maintain them and come and wait for government to take care of them. No, don't do it. Don't do it. Use some birth control. Do something. You men pull out. Do something, but do not allow yourself to be in a position where you're only having children and you cannot maintain them. And then you have the other part where the fathers are not able to see their children, or the mothers are not able to see their children. Man, we are in a mess. The human personalities in this country and around the world, we are in a mess. You all need to change your mindset. You all need to do things different. Why would you stop your child father from being a part of their life? Why would you stop your mother, your children mother from being a part of their life? Come on, put your differences aside and ensure that our children, the next generation, is brought up in a good space, in a good place, with integrity, with moral values, with good principles. In this time and season that we are living in, we are creating some monsters because it seems as though we don't care. But I want to encourage citizens, parents, all of us, most of us, all of us are parents except for those who didn't have a child as yet, who wasn't married and have a child or children. And even so, if you never had a child, you can still be a guide, a guardian. You can still be a parent to a child. Let us not just think that the government and national security and the police can do it. You two plays a very important role. What the police is going to do is shoot them and kill them because they have guns and they're ready to shoot at the police officers, and they are human beings as well. You don't expect them to stand up and get bullet from your son or your uncle or your father. No, they're going to shoot them first and kill them. And if that happened, they deserve it because they're in the wrong place with the wrong company. So you have a part as parents. You have a part as community influencers. Be a good influencer to our young people. If you are a drug lord or you are a gang leader, come on, change that. Change that. It doesn't worth it. Haven't you all seen how much of them have been killed? You all don't last for long, you know. It does last for a little while. If you live to 40 years, it's plenty. But most of you getting killed young. If the police doesn't kill you, your own partner does come and kill you. Aren't you all seeing what is happening? Time to change. Go and talk to somebody who can help you. I can't even say go and talk to a police officer because you don't know which one of them is encouraging the nonsense, because there are police officers who run in the blocks because they have instruction from higher authority. Listen to me. There is a higher gang that needs to be dealt with in this country than the gangs that we see the little black boys and them are part of. There is a higher gang, the elite gang. And those are the people that has to be dealt with. And I don't know if we have the ability by the government to do that. I surely know under the PNM government there was none, because somehow they too was a part of it, some of them. I'm not saying all of them, but some of them too were benefiting from what was happening. So my Prime Minister, I am praying for you. And I know there are many people praying for you so that we can get the job done. And you are a serious person, I know that. And I've seen your heart. I've seen what you are trying to do. And there are going to be obstacles. But I tell you, with God, like you always say, put God in front and walk behind. He is our protector and He is our source of deliverance. And we need serious deliverance in this country. So I want to say to all of you tonight who have joined and will join, those who would listen to this video afterwards, let us pray for our nation. Let us be responsible citizens. If you know of a family member, a cousin, a brother, a sister, a uncle, a father who is involved in criminal activity, try and talk to them. Don't say that it's their business. Go and have a conversation. See how you can assist them. We need to be our brother's keeper. We need to be there for one another. Because at some point in time, if we fail to talk to those who are involved, you might be the next target. You might be the next emergency. So let us not be foolish with foolishness. Let us not be selfish with selfishness. But let us be generous in heart and mind and be there for our young people, because they're going through a lot. I know they are going through a lot, and they are influenced by the wrong influencers. So what are we going to do? We have to do something. And again, to the Ministry of the People, Community Development, Ministry of Education, and of course the Ministry of National Security, you all have to come together, and we have to go into the communities through the NGOs, as the case may be, or whoever you all see fit to take and to go and to talk with these parents, to encourage them, show them how to do some kind of business, help them, help the African community, and even some of the Indian personnels who are in the same poverty lines. Let us forget the race talk foolishness. We know that there are more Africans who are under the line of poverty than the Indians. We know that. Everybody knows that. I ain't talking no race here. It is for everybody. But you don't see the Syrians and the Chinese in those positions. No. Let us come together. Let us come together and support one another. Because yes, the Africans might be illiterate, be even illiterate, they might be poor, and but they are the ones who kidnapping the Indians. And because I never hear them kidnap Chinese and Syrians, who they go after, their own Africans or the Indian people? So we got to get this right, people. We have to forget foolishness and we have to get this right. Okay? I love you all. Have a wonderful weekend. It is Friday. I know a lot of us going on live still. Be careful, be vigilant. Do not let your guards down. Until Sunday, same time, we're going to be here 8 p.m. and we're going to be talking much more on crime. And also, we want to talk a little bit on state boards. Okay, have a wonderful night. May the Lord bless you all. You have you have a wonderful night. We've said it, you've heard it, and now it is up to you. It is up to you. Until then, let your words be power and your voice be purpose. Goodbye. Good evening, Trinidad and Tobago, and across the globe. Welcome to Real Talk Corner. Hadassah, how are you?
It is I.